Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Newsbrowse News broadcast. According to NTD News, President Donald Trump has officially signed a series of pipeline permits. This action specifically includes a permit for oil transportation between the United States and Canada, aiming to enhance energy flow and boost bilateral oil trade between the two North American nations. The U.S. Central Command, CENTCOM, has announced a significant expansion of its maritime blockade against Iran, moving beyond existing measures to include a broader range of prohibited goods. According to Designating, U.S. military forces globally are now authorized to intercept any vessel linked to Tehran or suspected of transporting supplies that could aid the Iranian government, including weapons, ammunition, nuclear-related materials, crude oil, refined petroleum products, iron, steel, and aluminum. These vessels, regardless of their navigation area, may be subject to boarding, inspection, search, or even seizure if they are suspected of attempting to travel to Iran. The expanded measures aim to debilitate Iran's military capabilities and further cripple its economy. The U.S. Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Kane, highlighted operations in the Pacific, specifically targeting ships that departed the Strait of Hormuz before the blockade began. U.S. Defense Secretary Hegseth confirmed that 16 U.S. Navy warships comprising 11 destroyers, 3 amphibious assault ships, an aircraft carrier, and a littoral combat ship are enforcing the blockade in the Middle East. Over 10,000 U.S. troops, supported by various aircraft for monitoring, reconnaissance, and intelligence, are involved in the operation. Vessels approaching the blockade lines will receive warnings, with the military prepared to escalate force if ships attempt to evade. The blockade is being enforced in both Iranian territorial and international waters. According to Linga Saobao, the Group of Seven, Xi's 7 finance ministers have reached a consensus that it is now imperative to limit the heavy global economic toll brought about by the conflict involving the U.S., Israel, and Iran. They reiterated the pressing need for a lasting peace in the Middle East. A statement released by the French Ministry of Finance, which holds this year's G7 presidency, highlighted that coordination among G7 members is more crucial than ever to address the economic and energy impacts of the crisis, particularly on the most vulnerable nations. French Finance Minister Roland Lescure emphasized the importance of ensuring the free passage of vessels through the Strait of Hormuz, with G7 finance ministers agreeing that no fees should be paid to Iran for transit through this international waterway. Lescure also stressed the need for G7 countries to be prepared to act to mitigate economic and inflationary risks arising from the conflict's energy and supply shocks. The Middle East conflict was one of 3 key topics discussed at the IMF and World Bank spring meetings in Washington, alongside support for Ukraine and developing alternative supply chains for rare earths and critical minerals. According to China.org.cn, China's 2026 two sessions, the 4th session of the 14th National People's Congress, and the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference, took place at a crucial juncture, marking the first year of the nation's 15th five-year plan, 226-2030. Discussions centered on high-quality development, balancing growth with innovation and reform. A key focus was nurturing innovation-driven sectors like AI and renewable energy. The GDP growth target for 2026 was set at 4.5 to 5%, reflecting a pragmatic approach prioritizing sustainable economic restructuring. Efforts to boost domestic consumption and improve social services were also prominent. Legislative work included draft laws on environmental protection and national development planning. The sessions underscored China's commitment to market openness, multilateral frameworks, and pragmatic economic cooperation, positioning the country as a global stabilizer amid ongoing geopolitical and geoeconomic tensions. 联合早报 reports that Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, announced on Friday that a commander from the Axis of Resistance has issued a severe and unprecedented warning to all commercial and military vessels in the Bab el-Mandeb Strait. The warning, effective from noon on April 18th, states that any vessel intending to pass through the strait must be more vigilant than ever, indicating that the situation in the vital waterway is entering a new phase of military tension. Separately, Iran's Qatam el-Anbiya Central Headquarters Commander Abdallah Hay attributed aggression against Iran to misjudgment of its resistance and defensive capabilities during a meeting with Pakistan's army chief. He also thanked Pakistan for its support and affirmed Iran's full defensive readiness. Concurrently, U.S. President Donald Trump commented on the possibility of resuming face-to-face talks with Iran over the weekend, suggesting a peace agreement is very close, and claiming Iran has agreed to surrender enriched uranium, though Tehran has not publicly confirmed this. Trump added he might visit Islamabad if a deal is signed there. The axis of resistance encompasses Iran-backed armed groups and political alliances, including Hamas, Hezbollah, Houthi militants, and Iraqi militias, which are key players in regional attacks. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.